Hello, my name is Stephanie, and I'm here to talk to you about Sharon and her return back to school after she was hospitalized. So, Sharon, before she was hospitalized, was outside playing in her family's yard, and she was just having fun, just like normal, how everyone does. And as she was climbing under the family fence, which she's done plenty of times before, she ended up getting a very deep cut on her right leg. And because the fence was very rusty, she ended up getting tetanus. And tetanus is basically an infection that you get because the cut wasn't very clean. So, for example, if I were to get cut right here on my hand and with a rusty nail, I could get an infection because the nail wasn't clean, and so all the dirt and all the bacteria goes into my bloodstream, and it could very much hurt, and it could make me very, very sick. And so that is what happened with Sharon on her leg, on her right leg. She got a very, very deep cut on something that was very rusty, and so her family did their very best to try and take care of it, but they realized that they couldn't do very much, so they had to take her to the hospital. And then so when they had to take her to the hospital a few days after the cut because they thought it was healing very nicely, but then whenever they realized that it wasn't healing very well, they did come to the hospital. And so when they arrived at the hospital, the doctors had to tell Sharon and her family that Sharon had to get her right leg removed because the infection got very, very bad and was not healing very well at all. So Sharon and her family had to are going through a very emotional time now that Sharon doesn't have her leg. It is very hard to deal with an accident like this. Imagine if you or someone you know, your family, or from someone in your family, or maybe even a dog, a pet, or a cat, or something, had to get a limb cut off because it was very bad for their health. And so Sharon's leg got amputated, which means that her leg got cut off. And so it is something that Sharon is struggling very much to cope with. She's still very self-conscious about not having a leg. She is very worried about what her friends and her classmates will think when she comes back to school. And so I'm here to tell you all some ways that you could help Sharon to make her return back to school more easy instead of more difficult. So when Sharon comes back, she will be using crutches. She will be either using the crutches or a wheelchair, and then a few months down the line, she will have a prosthetic leg. And a prosthetic leg is basically kind of just a fake leg. It is a leg that is either made out of plastic or made out of metal, and it will be kind of like a support that Sharon could use for her body. So when Sharon comes back, you need to be respectful that you are not allowed to use her wheelchair or use her crutches or use her prosthetic leg. Those are Sharon's property, and they are very expensive. So if you get near her prosthetic leg, or if you accidentally bump into it, just try to leave it alone, because it is not your property. It is Sharon's property, and she needs it so that she can move around, and it's not for her to play around with. It is for her to live with and to be able to maneuver her way around the school and around her home and just around her community. So please do not ask Sharon if you can use her crutches, if you can sit in her wheelchair, or if you can try on the prosthetic leg, because that is not what it's there for. It is not for you. It is for Sharon. And also remember not to ask her about how she got her leg removed, or what she feels, or what she feels about it, about what not having a leg. She is still coping. She's still trying to understand the situation and is still not, she's still very confused about it, just as I think you are all very confused too. But when Sharon is ready, she will share her own feelings and she will share her thoughts on the matter. So do not pressure her. Please do not pressure her in asking all these questions about what happened. Okay? And also, Sharon is going through physical therapy right now. So physical therapy is a place that she goes to so that she can practice walking around with her prosthetic leg or with the crutches, or maybe even without her leg, trying to move around her environment without needing any help. And so that is kind of like a form of exercise for Sharon. It helps her get better, to get used to the fact that she does not have a leg anymore and that she will be using a prosthetic leg. So Sharon might come home to classes a little bit late in the mornings, or she might leave early. And this is the reason why she's arriving late and leaving early, because she's going to physical therapy. So this is something that is very important. So please do not think that she's getting any special treatment or anything along those lines, just because she's doing the same thing you are doing, plus a little more. She's doing just a little bit more extra homework, just because sometimes a physical therapist may ask her to try things that she normally would not be able to try if she didn't have a leg, or what if she did have a leg. So please be aware of that. And in physical therapy, Sharon is also learning certain things that she can do and certain things that she can't do. So when she comes to class, you all need to be aware that some things Sharon is very capable of doing, and if Sharon doesn't ask for help, then please don't give her any help, because she knows what she can do. But if Sharon does ask for help, please help her out, just because of course not everyone can do everything, and we all need help sometimes, and it's okay to ask for help, and we're trying to let Sharon know that as well. So it's always okay to ask. Sharon might be a little shy to ask for help because she doesn't want to bother you. So if you see Sharon kind of struggling a little bit, it's always okay to ask, like, hey Sharon, can I help you? And if she says no, then please do not help her. But if she says yes, please feel more than welcome to help her. And also, just be aware that her and her family are still going through a very, very tough situation financially. So Sharon might not be doing a lot of the same activities, field trips that you may all be doing. Like her and her family are still having a tough time, and so please be sensitive about what you say and what you do around Sharon. But it's always better to just ask Sharon herself as well, just because it's just always better to ask her. It is better to include her in the conversation and include her in these types of talks before you do or say anything, just because I don't know anything that Sharon's feeling right now. I only know what I feel and what I think, And then so it is better to just always ask Sharon and to let her know, always make her feel included. It is okay to treat her the same just because she looks the same, just a little different. And I think that's the same for all of us. She still likes to, play different sports. She still likes to go to the movies. She still likes to read books. Like, she's still very much the same Sharon. She just has to do things a little bit differently now, and she has to think about things a little bit differently just because her situation has changed, and that's okay. And so I hope you all will be able to help Sharon in her transition back to school. Thank you. Bye.